Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating new research paper published on Archive titled RAG Anything, All-in-One RAG Framework. We're going to look at how a team of researchers is fixing a massive fundamental blind spot in current AI systems, and how this could literally change the way we retrieve information. To understand why this is such a game changer, imagine you're trying to read a super dense financial summary, but there's a catch. You can only read the text. You can't see any of the crucial visual data, the graphs, the tables, nothing. You'd miss half the story, right? Well, believe it or not, that is exactly what's happening under the hood of most AI systems right now. Let's jump right into Section 1, the RAG blind spot. For anyone building AI right now, Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG, is the absolute industry standard. It's a brilliant paradigm, really, because it frees our large language models from their static training data. It lets them retrieve fresh, external knowledge on the fly to answer specific queries. But the authors of this paper point out a critical misalignment. You see, current RAG systems suffer from severe tunnel vision. They are strictly limited to textual content. Sure, they process text paragraphs super efficiently, but they effectively ignore almost everything else on the page. Which brings us to Section 2, Real-World Multimodal Challenges. Think about the real world for a second. Our modern knowledge repositories are incredibly messy, which creates huge, fundamental gaps for text-only AI. Current RAG capabilities are totally locked into text, while our real-world information environment is inherently multimodal. When we look at a typical document, say a complex medical journal with MRI scans right next to diagnostic text, or an earnings report packed with charts, it's a rich combination of data. Traditional AI literally just scrolls right past all the visuals, the structured tables, and the math. Honestly, it's like trying to read a comic book, but only looking at the speech bubbles. So, let's look at the solution in Section 3, Introducing the RAG Anything Framework. The researchers introduce RAG Anything, and it isn't just a simple software patch. It's a complete structural rethinking. It's a unified framework designed to process every single piece of a complex document, enabling comprehensive knowledge retrieval across all modalities. It leaves absolutely no data behind. So, how does it actually work? Let's get into Section 4, Dual Graphs and Hybrid Retrieval. The methodology tackles this in 3 distinct steps. First, instead of siloing text and images into separate processors, it reconceptualizes all data as this massive, interconnected spiderweb of knowledge entities. Second, it constructs what they call dual graphs to map out these connections. And finally, it executes cross-modal hybrid retrieval. And that second step? That's really the core innovation of the paper. By creating these dual graphs, the AI captures both the structural relationships, like a chart's physical position on the page next to a specific paragraph, and the semantic meaning, all within one unified representation. So a visual chart and its descriptive text are no longer separate files in the system. Actually, the AI mathematically binds them together. Once that map is built, it uses hybrid retrieval. By combining that structural knowledge navigation with semantic matching, the AI can actually reason through all this messy data. It finds answers even when the clues it needs are scattered across an image, a table, and a paragraph, simultaneously. Okay, but does it actually work? Let's check out Section 5, Benchmarks and Performance Gains. When put to the test against some really challenging multimodal benchmarks, RAG Anything achieves massive improvements over state-of-the-art methods. Where traditional RAG completely fails or skips visual support, this new framework is comprehensive. Structurally, it moves us from a clunky, fragmented pipeline to an elegant, unified system. But here's what's most striking. The framework shines the absolute brightest exactly where older models just completely collapse. I mean, when dealing with massive, multi-page reports where the text and visuals rely heavily on each other to make any sense at all, RAG Anything vastly outperforms the traditional approaches. Which leads us to our final takeaway in Section 6, a new unified paradigm. The authors argue, and it's hard to disagree, that this establishes an entirely new paradigm for how we access knowledge. It totally eliminates that architectural fragmentation. Instead of taping together 3 different AI models to read an image, parse a table, and skim the text, we now have one single, unified system doing all the heavy lifting. And this is absolutely crucial for the developers out there. The researchers didn't lock this innovation away in some corporate vault. Nope, the entire RAG Anything framework has been completely open-sourced and is readily available for the community via a link right in their paper. RAG anything is fundamentally changing how AI interacts with human knowledge. It's finally tearing down that barrier between plain text and a rich visual world of data. The code is out there. The architectural fragmentation is history. So the only question left for you is, what are you going to build with it?